Alex Taylor.
And this is Cara Moore, and you're listening to Alex and Cara's A Gen Z Convo.
Today we'll be discussing misogyny and everything in between after we give you a 5-minute rundown of the past week's world news presented by my friend, Cara Moore. Take it over, Cara.
Thanks, Alex. So, Beirut witnessed its worst violence in over a decade as gunfire erupted ahead of the controversial protest in central Beirut. Dozens of supporters of Iran-backed Hezbollah and their Shia allies, MO, were marching towards their country's Justice Palace when unknown gunmen and snipers fired from rooftops, causing demonstrators to take over and disperse. A number of high-powered lawyers who have represented Donald Trump in the past are sitting out his latest legal battle as the former president prepares to assert executive privilege to block congressional investigators from getting information on the January 6th insurrection.
I love that for our bestie Trump. I mean, bestie. Good for you.
Good for you to assert executive privilege.
Bad for you because we don't like you.
No, we don't. I mean, even his lawyers are frustrated with him as a client or facing their own ethical predicaments. Others still want themselves and their firms to stay far away from Trump's insistence that the election was stolen.
Yeah, I want to stay far away from him too, just in general. I want to be at least a continent away from him. If I could do that, I would.
You know what? Me too. I mean, the guy.
No, a planet away. That might be better.
He is literally still saying that the election was stolen from under him.
That shows how such a sore loser he is.
I mean, at least the guy's consistent, isn't he? So the next one is actually like the strangest one that I've seen in a while. A bow and arrow attack left 5 people dead in Norway is being treated by police as an act of terror, and after officers revealed the suspect has converted to Islam, and they have had concerns about his radicalization, which basically in simple terms means that the police is suspecting that the suspect is an advocate for political and social reform, which I think is a very extreme way of
it's definitely very strange. And
horrible.
These kind of acts really do add to Islamophobia, and that needs to stop because not all people of the Islamic religion aren't. I mean, they're not violent. It's just these.
A lot of them aren't violent.
Yeah, it's just these tiny groups of people. I mean, a lot of people in other religions are violent as well. I mean, you can't blame it on a single religion. That's just stupid.
And horrific. Terrible. Boo. So disputing COVID-19 booster shots in some countries, well as inoculations across Africa, lag is immoral, according to the Director of General in the World Health Organization. The increasing use of boosters is immoral, unfair, and unjust, and it has to stop. WHO Chief Tedros, I'm not going to say his last name because I cannot pronounce it and I'm not going to try, told CNN's Becky Anderson on Tuesday. To start boosters is really the worst we can do as a global community. It is unjust and also unfair because we stop the pandemic by ignoring a whole continent, and the continent that doesn't have a manufacturing of other means, which I find really.
I agree with that because I mean I don't know much about this topic because I'm not going to comment much, but I think these countries really need some support. We have to get through it together. I mean, we're all in this together.
We're all in this.
No, we're not. No. We can't afford.
That's a great movie.
We can't afford the music, okay?
Okay. The increasingly likely possibility of a massive oil spill from a decaying tanker in the Red Sea in Yemen could disrupt supplies of clean water to the equivalent of more than 9 million people, according to a new study. It's going to take away clean water for more than 9 million
I've heard you. I mean, and right now, a lot of people still don't have access to that. So that's gonna make that problem worse. I think
Yep.
it's just so bad.
So Iraq forces captured Samin Jassim, the deputy of former ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Iraq's prime minister said in a statement on Monday. Prime Minister Mustafa al-Hamidi did not disclose details of the operation. However, in a statement posted on Twitter, he said that Jassim was detained outside of Iraq. He did not disclose the location or the date of Jassim's arrest. While our heroes focused on securing the elections, their national intelligence service colleagues were conducting a complex external operation to capture Sami Jassim, who was in charge of Daesh finance and a deputy of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi al-Kadhimi said. Apologies for all of those mispronounced names, but
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think there's a lot of information to be gathered there, as he is one of the most, I think, important members of the ISIS group, and it's a step to end terrorism from that group and disband it for once and for all.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So at least 46 people died and dozens were injured after a major fire broke out in a building in southern Taiwan on Thursday, authorities said. The blaze started on the 13-story commercial and residential building at 2:54 a.m. local time in Kaohsiung City's Yangcheng district, according to Taiwan's official Central News Agency, or CNA. Rescue operators are still underway with more than 377 rescue workers deployed to the scene. A spokesman in the Kaohsiung City Fire Bureau told CNN at least 41 people have suffered injuries, he said.
I think that's a lot of people who died, and that is honestly terrifying. And being
Yeah, and
someone
there's
who,
still something.
I mean, being someone who would probably die if there was fire breaking out in their building, I am just terrified to go to sleep now, because if I go to sleep, I can't wake up. And if a fire starts at like 2 a.m. in the morning, I am not going to wake up. I'm going to die in bed, okay?
The amount of times that I've slept over at your place and you mine, you're not a light sleeper. You wouldn't wake up.
No, I'm not. I told you.
I'm a light sleeper, so I wouldn't wake you up. I'd leave you there to rot and die.
Yeah, and I'll just. And also, I have so many things I want to bring with me. I mean, I need my laptop, my phone, my pillow, my blanket. I have a lot of things that mean a lot to me. My teddies, my dog. I need to carry that down. So it's gonna
Your
take me a while.
sister, your mother, your
Maybe.
family.
Yeah, that too.
that wasn't the first thing that came to mind.
I mean, they can walk themselves. You know what I'm saying? I need to carry that with me down the stairs. That's a lot. Because the elevators are probably not going to work, and it's not a great idea to take a trip down the lift.
Okay, well, we're just gonna move on.
I will accept my fate.
Because Alex is paranoid. Suicide. Actually, the next one is actually pretty. This is pretty horrible, and I was really researching this. Suicide among Japanese school children hit a record high during the last school years, according to an education ministry report published Wednesday. Japan recorded 415 suicides among school children at the age of, I'm going to say this clearly, 6 to 18 during 2020 school year. During that year, from the ages of 6 to 18, 415 suicides. The highest number since records began in 1974. There have been a range of reasons that cause this, from family problems, bad school results, relationship with other children, and illnesses, Japan's public broadcaster NHK reported.
I think this clearly shows how the pandemic really affected children, and I think it's really upsetting to see this. I mean, six. That is such a young age to be committing suicide. I mean, suicide is bad enough for anyone above that, but still 6. That is really
These
upsetting.
children aren't legal.
I couldn't even comprehend things at the age of 6. I didn't know much. I just can't comprehend that. And it really shows. I don't really know anything about Japan, so I don't want to target this just on Japan, I just don't know too much about it. Except that it's a country. But yeah, I think that there needs to be something really needs to be done. I mean, not just Japan, for everything. I mean, children can't call national suicide hotlines. That's not going to do much.
Most of them don't own a phone.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to be more vigilant with the things that
Well, sometimes you
doing.
just don't know who wants to commit suicide. I mean, you can't blame the family members unless they had a key role in it. But
yeah, that's true. But still,
I think something really needs to be put in place, like a good system where they can get the help that they need.
Yes, definitely. For our last point, an Australian-made rover will explore the moon as early as 2026 in the country's first foray into lunar exploration, which is amazing.
I really want to go to the moon. Actually, Mars, just to get far away from all my problems.
Running away isn't going to get you anywhere, buddy.
It is, okay? Just for a bit. It will.
I don't want to go anywhere near space. My fear of heights is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's it for today's news, right? Is it?
Yeah, I'm actually so excited for your topic, so let's move on to that.
Yes. Okay. Well, today's topic is quite an interesting one, like all the others, but it's because I didn't even know it existed to this extent until I was pulled into the world of video essays. I mean, I love Jordan Teresa and Salem Tova, so please check them out to learn more about this topic because their videos are so interesting and also really entertaining.
Video essays are good.
They are amazing. Okay, I'm really sorry to put you on the spot here, Kara, but please tell me anything and everything you know about this topic. So, misogyny and internalized misogyny, and I think just in general.
Okay, well, I feel like I'm in the middle of an interview. Okay, so I know nothing about internalized misogyny. I've heard of misogyny and misogynistic men a lot. I'm gonna go with something about like inequality against women, like just men thinking that they are better than women,
Examples?
and that an example of a misogynistic man. Walter Lee from Raisin in the Sun at the beginning. Well, I don't know if that counts actually. No, George. George from the Raisin in the Sun. He's a misogynistic guy because he objectifies women. He like wants women to dress a certain way.
I mean, Mice and Men, Curly's wife, is a great example of misogyny as well.
There you go. Some literature for you there, guys. That's all I know. I can't give you a personal example because I don't know misogynistic men like well enough.
Okay. Well, again, I'm really sorry to put you on the spot. Well, I did this to partly make a point about how little we know about this and how sometimes unnoticed it is and how normalized at times it can be. You'll understand this later on, hopefully, if I explain it well and get through all my points. In this segment, I'll talk about the subtle misogynistic examples and my personal experiences with it, which are very minuscule if it even counts. We'll debate about this later on, but I will also talk about internalized misogyny and how toxic the male gaze really is, after I explain what they both are. There's also the female gaze, which is as toxic. I'll not get into it in this episode, but please watch Salem Tovar's video on that. This episode will talk about everything in detail because this podcast will not talk about everything in detail because then we'll go way over time, and this topic is very wide, and there's a lot of there's an array of topics in this topic. So if this topic piques your interest, please check the people I mentioned. Please check their channels out and do your own research. It's really fun. Please do. There are two parts to today's topic, so buckle up because hopefully you'll leave this video with a whole new different perspective of the world. Keep in mind these points I will make will differ from people's actual experiences, and misogyny isn't the same for all women. It depends on someone's race, economic background, age, sexual orientation, just to name a few.
Wait, I didn't even realize economic background was something that was linked to misogyny or sexual orientation, which is crazy. So it's like it's linked in everything.
It is. I mean, people get. I think there is like choice feminism, which I've heard of. People just advocating for like one type of right, but not everyone else's.
That's strange. I never knew that.
Okay. Anyways, it's always very nice to start with a definition. Misogyny literally means a hatred of women. To put it into simple terms, it's a form of sexism used to hold women down and continue the patriarchy. An example of subtle misogyny can be when a male person overly explains and simplifies things because you are a woman, and that's because and apparently being a woman makes you dumb. Also known as mansplaining. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think you actually have a very specific example of mansplaining. I just realized that mansplaining is like, it's also manhandling, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so, it's so subtle. And I didn't even think about subtle misogyny because it's so subtle, because when someone is explaining it to you and you're like, wait, I understand that. Why are you explaining it to me? You don't realize it's mansplaining. And I think that just
It's
shows
really normalized.
Yeah, and that just shows the root of how deep how deep the root of misogyny actually like runs within our society, which is insane.
It's really annoying when this happens because, to be honest, I think that this has happened to me, and I didn't know what to say. I mean, I understood the things he said the first time, and he didn't have to explain it to me the second time. And you know what he did? He well, I had done my research on that topic before, and I was familiar with it, so I really don't know why he did it. And in this group project, this person went through this website as a way of simplifying it for me, and after asked me and my female colleague if we understood it or not. I mean, you know what he could have done? I mean, he could have just muted his mic if he wanted to explain it to himself, but no, he unmuted his mic because it was a Zoom meeting, and you know had to read it out loud for because apparently we don't understand it enough, you know. And I still don't know if this counts as mansplaining because I invalidate my experiences. I hate that because women think that it's really normal for these things to happen, which I still think sometimes, and I'm not proud of that. But I think it's a subtle form of mansplaining,
But
at least for me. So what do you think, Kara?
I was gonna cut in and say it is mansplaining, and I think you have every right to be upset and confused about it because, like, you know, you were.
I mean, I knew about the topic more. I mean, if not,
Yeah, he should have trusted you. If you were in a group he had to trust you to do your work, familiarize with it, because it was a group project, so you had to play your part as well. And the fact that he didn't trust you and felt the need to mansplain it to you wasn't good. I don't know, honestly, I don't even know if he knew that he was mansplaining it to you. Maybe it's so woven into his life as well.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, okay. Um, Moving on, an example of obvious misogyny would be when someone is being catcalled on the streets. Do you want to tell your story, Kara, or not?
I mean, yeah, I'll share it. But but we both been catcalled many times. I'm sure a lot of people's been catcalled. I was probably the most shocking for mine was when I was walking over to my brother's house with my friend because we were gonna go biking. And there was this car, and there was this I don't even want to say guy because he was quite a boy. He was like around 18 years old. And he wolf whistled at me and he told me to pull down my pants. And at first I thought that I misheard him and just kept walking. And then when I was getting to like the end of the car, I heard another wolf whistle. I turned around and he poked his head out and then he yelled, or it was like, sweetheart, pull your pants down. And I was like, I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. I mean, what would you do in that situation?
Yeah, I would be frozen in time because I think and especially because I think it's one of those experiences. I mean, well, at least from what I know about your life so far, I think it's one of your first experiences with like a more serious catcalling, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because we've been catcalled before to like get into people's car and stuff like that, you know. But like,
that's and we were biking and they weren't following us and they just said it once, and I think that was kind of specific and targeted you, so that yeah.
I don't know. It felt weird. It felt uncomfortable. I just like, yes, you know what? This dude isn't worth my time. I'm just gonna ignore him and move on.
Yes, good for you. And I think it's upsetting how normalized it is. Like again, normalization is a key problem to misogyny. I'm adding up to misogyny. I mean, how many times? I think everyone goes through catcalling. I mean, every woman goes through catcalling at least once in their lives. And it's really annoying how we have to, dress more modestly and wear less makeup, be I don't know, make your appearance I don't know, make
more neutral.
Yeah, neutralize yourself and not show yourself because men will try to hurt you, you know? You have to walk in fear of being assaulted on the street. You have to look where you're going, you know? You have to check who's behind you. You have to check who's next to you. That constant fear is absolutely terrifying and mortifying.
Yeah, that's so right. I didn't even think of that. It would be mortifying, but it is. You make valid points.
Well, do you want anyways, do you know the term boys will always be boys, or do you know when someone says, "Oh, if a boy bullied you or did something mean to you, it's because they like you and they have a crush on you." You know? I feel like these terms are rooted in deep misogyny and have a greater impact than you can imagine. Both terms give excuses for men. I mean, I've heard it used when men were dismissed during sexual court cases, and I think it's time we stop using it.
Sexual court? He used that as an excuse because he was just
for like teen boys who assaulted.
Very Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, both terms give excuses for men, so misogyny. I mean, also, have you heard those insults where people use feminine words? Like stop being such a girl or man up, you know? That if you have not noticed, it's
put on your big girl pants. Yeah. Or something like that.
Big pants. Big boy pants. I mean, it's also an example of subtle rooted misogyny in our culture that paints a negative light for being feminine and praises masculinity when being feminine is as good as being masculine. I mean, equality is what we want. We were told not to be independent, not to be strong-minded, and not to be assertive. Taylor Swift mentioned this in her Miss Americana documentary. We love Taylor, or Swifties.
We do love Taylor, don't we? Swifties all the way.
Yes. She stated that she was told by her label executives that a nice girl doesn't force their opinions on people. A nice girl smiles and waves and says thank you. It shows how women have to not have opinions and just be objects that's pleasing to the eye, you know?
But it also kind of discredits manners, right? Because yes, I mean, you should say thank you and stuff, but then in the context that the executives gave Taylor, it almost discredits manners. Because yes, you have to have manners. It's like it's a good thing, but then when people use manners as an excuse to control how women behave and talk, it just becomes, it just becomes weird because when you are, I don't know how to say it, but when you are being nice, you don't feel like you're being nice because you feel like you're just doing this for the people.
Yeah.
But then if you don't be nice, then people will like, I don't know. I'm just gonna. If you understand, you understand. If you don't understand, I apologize.
So let's talk about double standards now. So when a woman is assertive, she's called bossy. But when a man is assertive, he's called a boss. You see the difference there? I mean, men are praised for being like that, and women are degraded for doing that. And any examples you can think of, Kara?
I don't have any solid ones. I've heard a lot from Taylor Swift, some from Cardi B as well. I think if for from coming from your personal experience that I've seen, it would be like if a woman were to stand up to someone, then she would be seen as like violent. But if a man were to do it, then he would be seen as protective and loyal.
Yeah. Well, you you made
Muffin seems to agree as well.
I'm so sorry for the dog barking. I think
He agrees with
there's a mailman somewhere.
He agrees with you. See?
I mean, so sorry. Why is all my episodes so chaotic? They have to do this at this exact time, and it's really annoying. I'm angry.
You're a mad woman.
Not as mad as I was when the experience I will talk about happened, which you made me remember, by the way.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well, so I think this teacher came to tell us off for being too loud, and I kind of agreed with that because we were too loud, and then the guys in my class started commenting about her body and started
They were body shaming her.
They were fat shaming her, and I think that was just rude because it was so unrelated to the point that she was making. You know, I don't get that. I don't get that when someone does something you don't like, you have to body shame someone because I think that's very cruel. And then I got upset. I got upset and I got angry and I kind of yelled at
them and you made a very good point.
I told them to stop doing that because it's rude and it's unnecessary. And I was a mad woman like Taylor Swift's song because I was angry at that moment in time. I mean, I was annoyed. Like at first I wasn't that angry because you know, misogyny is so normalized.
Yeah.
And I was annoyed and when they started asking me, this wasn't just the boys by the way, it was also the girls. They kept asking me, oh my gosh,
it was one girl.
Both. And they kept asking me about how yeah, it was one girl and they kept asking me about how why I was mad and and they kept unvalidating my anger and they kept saying that I was unnecessarily mad when I had a valid reason and I wasn't mad at that point. I was annoyed, but when they started asking me that, I became so much angrier.
Yeah, and it angered me as well because I was like, she has every reason to be angry with you because you discredited a woman's body who you should be respecting and then asking her why she is mad. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they look at you in a judgy way as well. Like, I don't want to discredit them as well because they have grown a little from that. I hope they did anyways. But then it was a very, like, judgmental, like, look they would give you the whole day.
They were giving me a look and they kept whispering when I walked by. Well, I had a valid reason to be mad and they were very misogynistic in that way. So, slut shaming is another example. When a man is sleeping around, he's praised, you know?
Yeah.
But when a woman is doing the same thing, she is slut shamed. Right?
Yep. It's if a man is sleeping around, then what is it called? Conquest.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman is sleeping around, what is she called? Like a slut. Yeah, you just said that.
Also, what is
I mean, I'll sleep around if I want. You have no right to control how I use my body.
Yes. My body, my choice. Also, what is up with victim blaming? It is not her fault. It is never her fault. what she is wearing should make her a target. That is a you problem and not a her problem. Keep
Yep.
it in your pants.
Keep it in your pants. Keep that little pencil in your pants.
Really, Cara? Really? I don't.
Did you understand that, or do I need to explain that to you?
You need to elaborate more. I think keep that
God.
little pencil in your pants is a little vague. I mean, it's a little.
It is not
plain.
vague. It's a comment on size.
Okay, get it now.
Do you understand it now?
Like a pencil. I think. Okay.
It's an insult.
It's a different insult. It's interesting.
We should make that our motto.
Yeah, keep that little pencil in your pants. That's so fun. Good for us.
Good for them.
Good. Okay. So we're moving on super quickly today, and that's because of that phrase that Cara just made up. No one says it.
I did not make that up. I bet you someone somewhere is saying that.
Right now? Really? Okay.
I'm sure someone is saying that.
Okay.
It's not just me. Moving on.
There is just so much we need to cover, so that's why we're moving this quickly. But before we move on, I would like to ask you guys, our beloved listeners, to follow us, review us by sending us a message, like our content, and check us out on our website, linked on our Instagram at a Gen Z podcast. This will help us so much, and it also would help us keep going. You are welcome to leave any suggestions there, no matter how crazy or small. And I deeply apologize for the self-promotion. I again deeply apologize for the self-promotion. Moving on, what is the male gaze, you may ask? It is when a film is presented through the eyes of a heterosexual male. I mean, Suicide Squad, Wolf of Wall Street, and basically most of Adam Sandler films. I mean, you can see a pattern here, right? These these movies are made by men and filmed in a way that pleasures the male heterosexual viewer and depicts women as sexual objects, and I think empowers men as well. In these kinds of movies, the female character is mainly wearing high heels and tight dresses for the purpose of making them look attractive, even if they really don't fit the context at all. So look, and I think in these movies they also kind of zoom in on certain body parts, and
yeah, they over
just to highlight that.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, an example of not fitting the context is a crime-fighting detective, and in like these kind of male gaze-based films, they still kind of wear these provocative and highly sexualized clothes, which really, really don't fit into the narrative. And I feel like I'm starting to sound a tiny, tiny bit misogynistic here, maybe a little bit more than that, and I'm just going to elaborate more just so I don't create any problems. Okay, so I think women should wear whatever they want. I don't feel like I should control the way they express themselves, because fashion is a way of expression and they have the right to do that. I mean, I just don't like the way these movies depict women and send those kind of messages. So
yeah, how they portray women's like body parts or style in that way.
Yeah, and also studies this you can see how problematic it can be, right? I mean, from you can just see it. This has affected women mentally, as you can tell. Like, studies have shown that there is an increase of depression, anxiety, loneliness. So, yeah, I mean, studies have shown that there is an increase of depression, anxiety, loneliness, low self-esteem, eating disorders, self-harm, and suicidal ideation, partly due to female objectification. Another prime example of, I think, is of misogyny is body shaming. it doesn't matter who does it. It can be a male or a female. It still has the same effect. I mean,
body shaming or body comparisons.
so I mean, think, and it's both misogyny because you are looking at women's bodies through the male gaze and through that kind of beauty standard that we still kind of have, even if it's so bad and it affects so much of us and it so many of us. Sorry for the grammatical error there, but I think it affects.
I was gonna correct you. I was gonna correct you.
Yeah, I know, she's annoying. Anyways, she made that face. Also, I think, I don't know, it just has this substantial effect just because of having those standards that are so impossible, you know? Like Taylor Swift said, I'm not quoting her exactly because I don't remember, I don't have that quote right now, but she said something along the lines of, if you don't have it, and because you need a big butt in this society to, fit the standards, and if you have that ass that you that people want, then you have a stomach that they don't want. You don't have a
your
stomach.
waist is too big if your butt is too big, but if your butt is too small, but if you want your waist to be smaller, then your butt isn't as big as they want.
It's so impossible. And I think I mean, so think about the times you were staring at yourself in the mirror and not liking the way you look. That was partly because of the male gaze. I mean, if not most of it, or like all of it, was because of the male gaze. I mean, if you think about it, everything is. Do you want to add anything?
No, you pretty much did that. I never really thought about the male gaze in that way because I didn't know much about the male gaze until like you told me about it.
It's guys' fault. It's men's fault that we feel this way constantly every day, and we seek this validation that we're never gonna get. Unless you have that perfect body type and the perfect face that is today's standard.
Yeah, but also it also I forgot the word for it. It also kind of understates like the people who do that have that kind of body type and that like face because it undermines that their body type because just because they do have that expected body type it undermines it because then they become I don't know. They become viewed in a way that people may not like because of it. I don't know if I'm making much sense.
Oh yeah, like the stereotype.
You never win.
Like the stereotype against blondes, like that's like the kind of a little bit of a beauty standard, or it was. I don't know if it still is. I think it kind of is, but blonde people were seen as dumb when they are not.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, your hair color doesn't state your intelligence. Also, I think those kind of people who seemingly have like the perfect appearance that you want, they still go through a lot of insecurities, and I think that's the reality for all of us.
Yeah.
I think
there was an interview. Sorry, I think there was an interview of Scarlett Johansson when the interviewer was saying that was talking about what she had to do to fit into her outfit. Did you see the compilations of like Scarlett Johansson being asked about her diet when the male asked like these like super like life questions, and the interviewer was like, "So what diet did you do? Because like obviously you're Scarlett Johansson. You don't have body insecurities like the rest of us." But she does because she's a woman. Just because she's like white and she's an actress doesn't mean she's like any different.
No, everyone does, and I think an the industry that really profits from this is the plastic surgery, and I mean the cosmetic surgery, and makeup industries. I mean, I use makeup, so I mean I have nothing against makeup and plastic surgery, but it's not, and it's not really feminist, is it? But it's not. It's really freeing, but it's still not really feminist because you're giving profit to those who profit off of the male gaze and everything that it holds.
Well, I would have to agree with you that disagree with you there because I do understand where you're coming from, but I also think that women do have a choice for changing the way they look if they feel comfortable with it.
No.
But I do understand where you're coming from, saying that they might.
No, the action is not feminist. But if getting plastic surgery and putting money into those industry doesn't make you less of a feminist, I think. It doesn't make you less of a feminist, but it's rooted in misogyny again, right?
Yeah, some people do profit from it in a not very nice way. Yeah, you see what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
Hopefully.
Also, remember the time the girl that I mentioned earlier who asked me if the girl that asked me if I was mad, that in my Mad Woman story.
The group of people.
And that girl.
Yes, the earlier story.
And that girl also asked my weight, right? And I mean, I didn't want to tell her, but she was really, really pushy, and I'm still insecure about my weight, and I was at that time too. So when someone just keeps relentlessly asking you about your weight, you kind of have to tell them. It was so awkward. I told her, and then I think she was really judgy about it because because it was heavy. It was bigger than hers, and she was taller than me. So, but it really hurt me, and not in the best way. Obviously, I was already insecure, and her comment she didn't make a comment, but her judgy face or judgy look really didn't help with that.
I could see how uncomfortable you were because it was like she just made it seem like she wasn't judging you, but it was very obvious that she was judging you.
She was. So let's move on. This is a great segue into internalized misogyny. So internalized misogyny is basically when a woman is being sexist towards other women. See, she was being mean to me, so commenting on my weight, the male gaze, blah blah blah. So pick-me girls are a prime example of internalized misogyny. If you know what a pick-me girl is, I assume you know, right? It's really popular right now.
No, explain it to me.
Pick-me girl? You don't know?
No.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're detached from all social media.
Shut up.
Okay, it's fine. Pick-me girls are basically they claim not to be like other girls, and they hang out with guys because girls are way too much drama, and they view femininity as bad. They see it as something not great, and they constantly push other girls down in order to make themselves look more attractive to men.
Yeah. So basically, like a girl fighting for equal rights for girls.
What? No. So.
No, I got that wrong. Wait. I got that wrong.
Wait, I'll explain it again. Pick me girls say that they're not like other girls, and that they don't wear makeup because makeup is so bad and just so feminine. They basically disagree with feminine sides of things, and they hang out with boys because girls are way too much drama for them, apparently, because we're so dramatic all the time.
Oh, I hate it when people say girls are dramatic, or they blame for like.
I'm just saying, guys are way more dramatic.
They beat each other up for fun.
Yeah, they beat each other up because oh god. I have this story to tell. Okay, I'm talking about my school, but there was this girl, right? And she's really popular, and there's this so there's this one popular group with popular people, and in that group it's like a mixed group. The boys in that group date the girls in that group, and they constantly break up and date other people. It's kind of really mixing,
It sounds so familiar to my school as well.
It's very mixing. It's a lot of mixing in there. I mean, you date one, you break up, you find another one in that group. And they're kind of isolated from the other people in the year. Just saying, they don't have other friends. But yeah, anyways, this girl in that group has like a crush on this guy, had liked this guy in the group who also liked her, but they never dated.
That sounds like me.
Well, anyway, this other guy, right, lends her his hoodie or something, and then she wears it, and then there's like a lot of drama over that hoodie. Like, they got really mad at each other. They had a whole blown fight. I swear to God, it really sounds very dramatic, you know. Oh my God, it reminds me of Heather, but more dramatic, you know. They were actually fighting over it.
Oh, wow.
Big deal. It was a whole fight.
I mean, I understand where the guy's coming from. He's protective of his girl.
They're not even dating.
Okay, yeah, that's a point. But like, I think I've read too many romance books, but like, it's like even if you don't date them, you still feel protective.
No. It was a sweater that she wore.
The sweater could symbolize so much more, Alex. It could symbolize. Am I reading too much into this? I mean, I don't think I am.
I feel like it's real life problems, is it not? I mean, my problems are like bad test scores and friendship problems. No, I don't have that right now. But that's
you have no friends. You don't have any friendship problems, Alex. You have no friends.
I do have friends. Don't worry.
Who? Name one friend.
I can't say their names. I can't. But I do have.
I'm right here.
Friends. Well, you're not one of them anymore. You were, but you lost your spot on my squad.
Is there like an application I need to fill?
Yeah. I'll be. Okay. So, I mean, we went way over track there. But basically, pick-me girls, they don't like femininity, and it shows how femininity is valued less in society and oftentimes thought of as a bad thing. You know, being sensitive is bad. You can't do that because that's what girls do. And that's also great. It's great being sensitive. Sensitivity.
Or like that phrase, don't punch like a girl.
I'll punch like a girl, you know. Well, any final thoughts, Cara?
When you said I'll punch like a girl, I immediately like had a visual of like smacking a guy's nose in. But we're not gonna go there.
No, we're not.
No, I don't have any last points. This was so interesting. Thank you. I felt like I was going back to school.
Oh, that's not the effect I wanted to have. Did it give you a whole different, interesting perspective?
No, it did, because before I knew nothing about this. It just felt like something that I had to deal with every day in my life. And a lot of people might agree with me. And just like listening to how rooted misogyny is in our daily life, it's insane how, like you said before, how normalized it is.
Yeah, I think the only problem I thought about this world that kind of affected women as a young girl, you know, I thought maybe like the pay gap, which I didn't know it was that substantial. I did my research. I don't have the stats here. You can look it up. It's really, really big. I didn't know that. I didn't know how the world was so bad, you know?
Also, this whole episode literally reminded me of Taylor Swift's song, The Man. Everyone needs to go and listen to that right now.
Yes. No, listen to all Taylor Swift songs. Cry to it, because that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm just going to listen to...
Cry, sing,
I'm
dance.
going to listen to All Too Well, Death by a Thousand Cuts.
That's a great one, isn't it?
Mirrorball, Mad Woman, Coney Island,
Cowboy
everything.
Great. Wildest Dreams, Like I Loved You. We could spend like the next 10 episodes just listening to Taylor Swift songs and we wouldn't be bored. But you guys would be, so we're not going to do that.
Yes. Well, I don't think anyone would be bored. But maybe our comments wouldn't be as interesting because we have nothing bad to say. And all we're doing in our episodes most of the time is like talking bad about someone or something. Right now it's the patriarchy, but next it might be Donald Trump again, you know?
No, we should do an update on him soon. I wonder what he's up to.
He has nothing again. What if Ivanka leaves him? Wait, no, not Ivanka.
Oh, have you seen that conspiracy theory about I think it was from Trevor Noah. It was a conspiracy that Trump was trying to deport Melania because all of his like super racist comments about like immigrants for like all had some sort of like context linked to Melania, which I found really funny. Not the don't deport Melania thing.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't support xenophobia. We don't support xenophobia. We let
We do not.
immigrants. That's good. I don't know. I don't know what to say here.
Okay,
It's very
we're gonna go to
controversial.
our fun end now because we're getting
No. I'm still not done making my points. I think the main message here is to catch yourself when you are feeling inferior just because of your gender, or when you begin to judge other women. You have to tell yourself to stop, because I constantly see myself doing that. And remember to be kind to yourself and also to other women. And empowered women support other women.
Yes, support your friends.
Empowered women empower other women. That's the point.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Fun end. Presented by Kara.
Okay. So, I literally just realized that there's a lot of names in here that I am going to pronounce wrong, so please...
oh my god. Kara's pronunciation of things are just so hilarious. Just because she sucks.
I'm not going to make a comment on that because it is true. Okay, so please bear with me. Okay, so local media reported that Beyhan Mutlu, who lives in the İnegöl district of northwest Turkey's Bursa province, was believed to be missing on Tuesday. He had wandered away from his friends in a forest while drunk, according to Daily Sabah website. His wife and friends reported him missing after they were unable to get in touch with him for several hours. Mr. Mutlu, 50, later joined a group in the area who were helping the authorities search for him. When members of the search party began calling out his name, he replied, "I am here." The authorities then took his statement before driving him home, NTV reported. Oh, and I would also like to add that they're considering pressing charges.
Oh my gosh, I feel like that would be me. No, it would be
like
other
accidentally
friend.
joining your own search party.
No, I don't think it'd be me. It'd be the other friend that we have. The one who might accidentally join a cult. The one we're really worried about. No, if that was me, I think I would have died in that forest, and our other friend would have definitely made it out alive and done exactly that. I'm not joking here.
You know, I love how serious you are because I have to kind of agree with you.
Right? Yeah. Anyways, that's our point here.
Yeah.
And also, we're really sorry for the self-promotion I'm really sorry for the self-promotion
Alex
that I
is
did.
sorry. Kara's not sorry.
Well, shouldn't you be? Because it's part of our episode now.
Okay, yes.
Well, anyways, I think that's it for this week. It was a little longer than usual. By that, I mean it was way longer than usual. I think we went...
It was a little bumpy. We went off topic a
lot. But it was so fun.
Yeah, we really hope you learned something. I definitely learned a lot, and I'm definitely going to be keeping track of all of those things.
Stop yourself from judging other women, and when you look at yourself...
Judging yourself.
When you look at yourself and you begin judging yourself, you say, don't do that, because that's adding to the patriarchy, and it's rooted in misogyny.
Thank you. I will stop doing that. Well, obviously, we're all going to probably just state that, like it's not going to be a how do I say it? It's not going to be like one of those like after you listen to this episode, you're suddenly going to be all like loving yourself.
It's going to be a journey. No, I still look at myself and I judge myself. Yeah. So it's not going to change, but I really hope it does. Because it has a substantial effect on everyone's mental health. I mean, I can definitely see that. So it's obviously a problem that's not going to solve immediately, and it's something that we all need to constantly work on. But at least we know what the problem is now, and how we still don't know how to exactly fix it, but we can try.
Yeah, I love how in a lot of episodes you always say, "Oh, I completely just forgot my point." Oh, you always say that the most important thing is always to educate yourself.
That is so important. I think we both agree on this.
Yeah.
And we just enjoy knowing things about the world that we wouldn't have known if we didn't do this podcast.
I'm very grateful for that day that you called me.
I know. I'm so glad I called you too, because you are very reliable, surprisingly, about this podcast, because you are always late. I'm not kidding. She is always late.
It runs in the family.
It does.
You have no.
Well,
Our road.
I think we're coming to an end. Thank you so much for listening. Again, please do educate yourself. This time, I don't think I'll leave any links on my on our page, but check out Salem Tovar and Jordan Teresa, whom I think mentioned in the first half of the video. Wait, no, podcast. Okay. Well, episode. Well, thank you for listening. Always yours, Alex and Cara. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
See you.